Hi, it's Gavin here again at the Jeet Kune Do Bootcamp, and today I'm going to do a little bit about some long range strikes on the high line, and then we'll add some footwork in with that too. So basically we'll start off with some of our typical strikes, and we'll just remove one of Bob's arms here for a second. And basically we're going to stick to just three right now. We're going to do the eye jab, the back fist, and the vertical punch. Okay, so for now, because these are all great long range attacks, they might tweak them a bit and do different things when I'm closer, but these would be nice, really nice ones for longer range. It works really nice with doing some of our explosive entry footwork. So the first one is going to be an eye jab. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your fingers together. I like to squeeze mine together, tuck my thumb in a little bit, slightly making a little bit of a cupping motion with your hand. And I like to have my palm lower than my fingers. And if I do it like that, even if you miss the eye, you hit the forehead or whatever, you're not going to sprain your fingers because your body will absorb the motion. So this one's not about power at all, it's all about accuracy. So you're going to practice this one by just having your hands up, relaxed, and just firing it right at the eye. And you'd be targeting the closest eye. So if they're coming a lead and they're facing this way, of course it would be this closest eye. So I'm just gonna, this is just your shot, just working that. And like I say, if you have that hand position, this is what I like to do. If you hit something hard like a wall, you can hit it quite firm and it's not gonna hurt your fingers at all, okay? But if you have your fingers straight or something like that, you're gonna sprain them. Your hand's quite fragile. So the first one, we'll just practice being in range, and we'll just fire that hand right at the eye and then back. So it's right at the eye like that. Just fire it like that. Just like that. Like that. Okay, the next one we're going to do is a back fist. Okay, the back fist, it's a similar motion. I'm going to, almost like a whip, I'm going to extend my arm and I'm going to back fist. But the trick with the back fist is you do not want to hit with the top of your hand at all. That part is incredibly fragile. You want to hit with just the knuckles. So when I whip this, you know, for someone who hasn't done a back fist before, they might think, oh, I'm using the back of my hand. But you're using your knuckles. If you hit the back of your hand, it's very painful. And like I said, you can easily break those bones. So the back of my hand is going to extend. Sometimes I might have been zoned out, maybe a shoulder roll or whatever. My hand might even be crossing my body, and I'm going to whip it. And just going to whip it, bam, like that. So here, I flip, bam, there's my shot. Whether my hands are up, or whether my hands are down, it's the same thing. There's my shot. Just whipping that shot out, and I'm flicking it like a whip. I'm creating trying to create a wave of energy through my body, going through my body and into my shoulder and straight into my target. And when we add the footwork too, you're going to see I'm trying to continue that wave right from my foot that's pushing off through my hips, then into my shoulder, and then extending it through my hand. Okay. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to do a punch, but it's going to be a jab. It's going to be a vertical jab, what we call the straight lead JKD jab. And I do lots of other jabs, but this one I'm using for a particular reason because I like how it has incredible range and it's very good for generating power in a long distance punch. So I'm not using it like a probe here. I'm using it as an effective strike. Okay, and it could just as easily be, you know, an eye jab or a back fist, do the same motion. But it's once again, it's that motion of driving the pressure through my foot, into my hip, into my shoulder, and extending like a whipping motion. But in this case, I'm going to have my punch vertical. There's some advantages of having your punch vertical, especially if you're not wearing gloves. You're less likely to not break your fingers. Okay, because it's so common that there's actually a name for it, boxer's fracture, because they basically break the two lowest fingers without gloves, or even, you know, if they don't wrap them effectively, or even with all that, they still can sometimes break those fingers. So, especially when your hand is this way, it's easy to catch those little fingers on something, where this way you're more on target, and it also is a narrower space to get through someone's guard as well. So there's some different advantages. There's pros and cons in both. Typically people like to also use the horizontal punch. They like to twist it and sometimes tear the skin, you know, get the person bleeding and technical knockout or whatever. So there's different reasons for the different punches. In Kung Fu, they like to have more square shoulders that extend this way, so they don't have the same reach necessarily as a boxer or the JP straight lead. So, different things. But anyways, we'll go into that another time, but this one we're just going to fire off this shot. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to have my hand in, I'm going to keep my elbow in, and I'm going to extend, and as I extend, my hip comes out, my shoulder comes out, and I reach my target like that. And if I do it correctly, my arm will get closer, and my head will get further away. It actually gets further away. And my head will subtly kind of slip on its own to the side. So it's almost like I'm doing a jab and a slip at the same time, but it's just as my hips get into it. Okay, so that's our motion here. So one of the ways we can practice that is just standing here, and I'm going to practice from both my hands down and my hands up, because sometimes that's the situation, or sometimes your hands are down. So first off, start with the hands up. I'm just going to use this punch. It's going to come straight out and straight back. Trying not to lift my shoulder, which lift my elbow, which we call chicken winging, or trying not to lift it back or drop it or do any kind of tell just before I do it. I want it to come straight out and straight back. Okay, now I'm going to do a couple on the with my hands down. This time with my hands will be down, and from here I'm going to do my shot, but after my shot it's very important I don't return my hands down again, because at this point I have to be ready. So my hands are down, I'm going to bring them up, do the shot. I'm still going to try to bring my hip forward, my shoulder forward, and whip this, and then I'm going to return it to my chin, because at this time I have to protect my head a lot because I'm going to be in close range. Okay, so starting from hands down. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, so play with that, and then we'll actually do another video. We'll add the